search the earth when all that I needed was just one touch.
Hi, this is Renee.
Hi, I'm Rhea.
And this is Raw.
Yep.
So we just want to explain a little bit what Raw is. It's reckless abandoned women. Our components of reckless abandon is boldness
And passion.
and self-denial. So, you know, those are things that we keep in mind when we come to you and we do our little shows here
Yeah.
weekly for you. And we like to tell a little bit about ourselves. And we kind of like to get to know you a little bit. So we just ask if you watch any of these episodes that we do, just leave your comments.
That would be nice.
Like and
Yeah.
share.
Yeah.
But we were thinking about, as the last episode that we just left off at, we talked about like order and like disorder and chaos.
Yeah.
And we said something about having a junk drawer. And
And I still have an issue with a junk drawer. So it's something where, like, I've got this drawer in my kitchen, okay? And this drawer holds all kinds of miscellaneous stuff. And it's funny because I think there was a couple different times where my husband and my son, they took it and they totally dismantled it. And I'm like, where's all my little gadgets that I was looking for?
And
So,
that's funny. And I'm the other way around.
Yeah.
I'm too orderly and too organized to where I'm like a junk drawer. Then that means if you have a junk drawer, you're just gonna put junk in it. And if you have junk, you don't need junk. So everything, it has to have a purpose and it has to have a place. It maybe has to be labeled. So
Wow.
it's bad. My OCD is really bad, and organizational skills are probably good. But it's funny how she has the junk drawer, I don't. Everything has to have a place.
yeah.
And
I'm getting there because I used to be like, kind of, I was saying in my last video that I was a neat niche, but then when I had children, that just went all out the window. But I always was like a keeper. And I guess that was because when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot. I was bullied. My clothes were not in style, so therefore I was made fun of. So with that, I think that kind of puts you on the track of wanting to keep things because you feel like you're not going to get it, or you won't be able to afford to get another one, of whatever that may be. And then what can happen is you accumulate, and if you don't learn to throw out something or give something away, once you get something new, you're going to put stuff on top of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I have a rule now, and like, this is only God doing this change in me. That, let's just say, for instance, for order in my closet, with clothes, if I buy something new, and I buy it pretty cheap because I like to get deals at like Salvation Army or Goodwill or something like that, I'll bring it home, I'll wash it, I'll put it in my closet, and so I'm not stuffing it in there because there's not a lot of room, to put a new shirt or something like that. One or two things will come out and they'll go in a bag to go to somebody else.
I do the same.
So, that way I'm not accumulating. I'm not getting so disorderly and so, crazy with having so much stuff, because stuff can really start to build up. And I'm finally learning that, here I am where I am in my life, and I'm finally getting that a little bit,
And it's like I said the last time, I'm sorry, I discovered that, like sometimes less is more. Less, and what I mean by more is, like we said, we have maybe more free time. Maybe it frees up more things that you might want in your life or need in your life. And but yeah, it also made me think about, as she was talking about the junk drawer, and for me thinking everything has a place, everything has an order, it just makes me think about some of the maybe mental or emotional junk that we hold on to.
Yeah.
And maybe it's time for us to take those things and give it to the Lord and have Him put them in an order. Or relieve that burden from us, whatever we're dealing with. Because sometimes I really believe that we have let's just say a junk drawer up in our head.
Yeah,
There's a junk box up in our head that opens and closes, and sometimes that junk box tells us things like, we've talked in earlier sessions about our worth. Maybe
Yeah.
that junk drawer opens up and says, "Oh, your worth is low." The negativity.
That's a chatterbox.
That's
right?
right. The
Yeah.
chatterbox opens, which is another junk drawer.
Yeah. And we talked about that in one of our programs not too long ago about what kind of bag do you carry or something. I don't remember exactly what the title was, but we were talking about pocketbooks and different stuff, and then we went into like the baggage that we tend to carry, and that's what Renee's talking about. She's talking about are you holding on to anger? Are you holding on to unforgiveness? Are there things where you're mad at somebody and you're bitter, or you're resentful, or different things like that? That's that junk that we've got to get rid of.
And I really think it's good that you brought up the point of unforgiveness, because I believe there's maybe a perception of what people think forgiveness is.
Right.
And a lot of people think, well, this person did me wrong. They don't deserve to be forgiven. They hurt me too bad. Why would I do that for them? It's not about them. It's about you.
Right.
You have to release that, and it may take time.
Yep.
And you may have to actually kind of psych yourself into it. And this is how I used to have to do it. I had to actually say it. I forgive them, I forgive them, I forgive them, until my heart felt it.
Yeah. Somebody said, and I don't know who it was, it's like drinking the poison and waiting for the other person to die. But you're the one that drank it.
Yes.
And you're waiting for them to die. Okay? But you drank it, so that's why it's poison. It's poison that courses through every part of us and then gets into these crazy physical things that start to come up because we're allowing bitterness and all that to crop right from it.
And it's really interesting because those types of things, the bitterness, the unforgiveness, it's not just something clogging up that mental junk box in our head. It can take effect into your physical life as well. It's a proven fact that stresses and anxieties and unforgiveness, they can cause, the anxieties and the high blood pressures and the panic attacks.
Heart palpitations.
Yes, and personally myself, I suffer with panic attacks, so I kind of can relate to that. But yeah, it actually proves not only your mental health can transfer into your actual physical health. So forgiveness is so important. Give yourself that time. Whether you think that person forgives it or not, take your time to let it go.
Yeah.
To just let it go.
Yeah.
And try not to dwell on whatever that subject is, because
So how do we do that? How do we do that? Can anybody kind of think about that right now as you're hearing all these things and it's not good to hold on to these things? Renee, how do we do that?
How do we do that?
And right away I think of, well, if I didn't have God in my life, I wouldn't know how to do that on my own. There'd be like, no way.
I'm sorry, sweetheart.
It's all right. It's all right.
How do we do that? I can give you examples of how I did it, and it would just be sometimes just tuning into the right, listening to the right encouragement of suggestions of what to do. And let's just say, I know I've spoken before about how my husband had left me, and I was bitter and angry for a really long time, and I didn't want to forgive him. So in my process of forgiving him, I had to learn how to not give that subject, that topic, you might say any energy,
right?
Anything worth my time.
Life.
Yes.
You can't give life to it.
So whenever something would come to my mind that would spark a negative thought, a negative feeling where I wanted to get angry for what he did, and you'd want to pick up the phone and tell somebody, oh, I'm feeling this way and I'm still angry about this. I didn't give it energy. I didn't give it, I can't think of energy. Is
The
not
time
what
of
I'm trying to say.
day.
Yes,
You
the
didn't
time.
give it the time of day.
I didn't give it the time.
Right?
So I said, no, I'm not going to pick up the phone.
Because we could do that.
Ooh, yeah.
We could, as girlfriends, be like, instead of, I've heard a saying, it's instead of go to the throne, we go to the phone.
Yes.
And to the throne means we should go to
Exactly,
God with
Rhea.
stuff, right? We should go to Him with things.
Exactly. She's saying exactly what I had to learn how to do. Instead of going to the phone,
Right.
I did go to the throne on my knees. And I pleaded and pleaded. I said, Lord, take this ugliness out of my mind and my heart. Lord, give me a heart that you have towards
Right.
me, because you forgave me.
Right.
You died for my sin before I was
Right.
even created.
Right. Yeah, and that's a whole nother
Yes.
thing right there. But so yeah, it's, you know, when you think about order, because we're trying to still kind of stay on the subject of order. I learned, and it took a long time to learn this, that God must be up there in the order ladder of my life. He must be right there, right at the top part of the ladder. He must be the top. But you know what? He is now, but I'm telling you something, and it might not be for you now. It wasn't for me for super a lot of years of my life. I'm talking 40, even 40 plus. Even when he opened up my eyes, it still took me quite a while to open up my eyes and really see what God was trying to do, to kind of not force his way to the top of my life, but to let me see it on my own. You know, that he needed to be the top.
You basically exalted him in his timing. You acknowledged him.
Yeah, when
in
my
his
eyes were
timing.
open, right?
Yeah, and that's a whole nother subject that
It is.
we'd like to talk about that too,
It
about
is.
God's timing in the future. Yeah, he exalted himself, and you did it in his timing.
He did it, yeah. But I think the cool thing about God is he's not forceful. You know, and we talked about the forceful thing before, but well, we're running out of time already.
Yes,
Wow.
already went by so fast. So,
It did.
you know, if you have any, how about if you have any topics you'd like to hear us discuss?
Yeah, please.
Any ideas that you have?
Down below, you have to go
please.
all the way. You have to scroll all the way down below to put your comments down there. And please, yeah, give us some ideas, things you want us to chat about. I know you're watching us, and I thank you for watching
you.
us. This is, you know, also that we can help you somehow, some way, encourage you. We encourage. We were saying to each other that we encourage each other through this. And we hope to be encouraging you.
Yes.
So if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up, and also subscribe as well.
Please.
I think I forgot to say that in the last one, but please subscribe.
Yes.
And we have other neat series on our channel, which is RH Media Network. And we thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.